awesome to see you again, Austin. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good, thanks. I was wondering, since we met last week, if you had a chance to kind of think about some of the things that we talked about pertaining God's heart for your university.
Yeah, I had given it a little bit of thought, actually.
That's great. As you thought about it, and you thought about how you'd love, or you'd want to see God use you at your university, what are some of the things that you thought of?
I don't really have any specifics. I just really had my heart move to want to see some sort of change and me be used by God to do that. So
that's awesome. That's great. I mean, it's really fun to think about, what if God used you this year at your campus to affect the eternity of one person?
Yeah, that would be so huge, even just one life change.
It's fun to think about what God could do through you, and what God's heart for the students on your campus, isn't it?
Yeah.
From the very beginning, God had a plan for saving his people. And as we look in the Old Testament, when God talked to Abraham, we see his promise that he desires for all to know him. Let's look at that together and see what it says about God's heart for people. Why don't you read Genesis 12, verses 1 through 3.
1 through 3. The Lord had said to Abram, "Leave your native country, your relatives, and your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who treat you with contempt. All the families on earth will be blessed through you."
You can see there how through Abraham, God desired to bless all the peoples of the earth. And this is actually something that he has been doing and is continuing to do. Ultimately, this is a plan that he will fulfill. In Revelations, this is the last book of the Bible, it actually talks about that future vision that future plan being fulfilled in chapter 7, verses 9 through 12. If you want to read that, it gives a picture of what the future will look like.
After this, I saw a vast crowd, too great to count, from every nation and tribe and people and language, standing in front of the throne before the Lamb.
Isn't that exciting, Austin?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Just to imagine, every people, tribe, tongue, nation that God has created will be represented before his throne, worshiping him.
It's exciting.
It is. It's exciting to think about what it will be like one day, but we know living in this world, it's not like that now, and there's a lot of people who don't know. I mean, every day we see people, we interact with people that don't know Jesus and are frustrated. Life is hard, and there's a lot of brokenness around us, and even in our own lives. Wouldn't you see that too?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's a parable that Jesus spoke in Matthew 25. Let's look at that real quick and maybe read, it's verses 14 through 30.
Okay.
It talks about what the kingdom of heaven is like. So as we're reading this, let's think about that.
Again, the kingdom of heaven can be illustrated by the story of a man going on a long trip. He called together his servants and entrusted his money to them while he was gone.
So when the master returned, we see that one guy used his 5 talents to make 10 more. Another one, he used 2 talents to make 4. But then what happened with the last one?
He didn't invest it, and he just didn't really do what he was asked to do.
Yeah, Why do you think that the third guy didn't use his talent?
He didn't really trust in what his master had asked him to do. He didn't really feel like he needed to do what his master said, because he didn't judge the character of the master.
Yeah, he didn't trust. That's great. That's awesome. So he didn't trust the master, and maybe he was a little bit afraid. He wasn't really sure. He knew that he should obey, but he wasn't confident that his master was generous and good and would reward him, even if that investment didn't return in an amazing way like the first or the second guy. Yeah?
Yeah.
So as you think about your own life and the talents that God has given to you, he's given you talents, he's given me talents, and how the Lord would ask you to invest your talent. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great, but at the same time, I'm not really sure how to use my talents in order to reach people, to share with people. So.
Even though you might not be sure how to, do you think that you're at a place where you might be willing to take a step and maybe risk if someone could help you along the way?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to be shown how to.
That's awesome. Even though we can maybe be afraid or have doubts, what's exciting is that Jesus gives us a way where we can have confidence and step forward to participate in building his kingdom. Let's look at Matthew 28, verses, if you want to read verses 16 through 20.
Okay. Then the 11 disciples left for Galilee, going to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some of them doubted. Jesus came and told his disciples, I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Teach these new disciples to obey all the commands I have given you, and be sure of this, I am with you always, even to the end of the age.
Awesome. So Austin, as you look at this, what do you see Jesus' primary command here in verse 18 and 19?
Let's see, in 18, 19. He's just telling them to go and make more disciples.
Wow, that's pretty huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how did they feel about this? What does it say? Some of them...
And some of them doubted. I can't even imagine like having walked with Jesus, but it's encouraging to know that they had doubts just like I do.
They did, yeah. We all do, and having doubts doesn't disqualify us. It doesn't count us out. I mean, obviously it's pretty normal, but the thing that we know is that the Holy Spirit is with us. And as we go out and we obey, we know that we have the Holy Spirit who gives us power and gives us the words to speak. And the other thing is we know that our Master is good. We don't need to be afraid of him. We know that he has given us a command, a challenge, and we want to obey, but he's good, and so it's something that we want to do. You know, there's a lot of other students on this campus like you who have a heart for God, love God, and want to be used by God to build his kingdom. They're also afraid at times, but together it's exciting to see what God can do. And Austin, I wanted to ask you, is this something you would want to do to learn how that you can invest your life for building God's kingdom right now, but also for the rest of your life?
Yeah. I mean, I would. I was scared, but yeah, I would love to.
Awesome. That's encouraging. Well, here's a really easy way we can get started. There's a process called MAWL, and it's an acronym. I know it sounds funny. It's MAWL, and it stands for Model, Assist, Watch, and Leave. And this is something that we often use when we're training, teaching new people how they can share their faith. And so right now, what I'd like to do is take you and to show you, to model to you how you might be able to share your faith with someone else on campus. We have this tool called the 4 Spiritual Laws, and it basically walks through the elements of the gospel and giving a person an opportunity to respond to Christ. And what I'd like to do is to take you now and show you how to use it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. You just watch. You just watch me do it, and I will model it to you. How does that sound?
Sounds great. I'm totally comfortable with that.
Okay. Well, as we go, maybe we can look at it together, and then you can just watch me. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Let's go.